welcome to the What If Ask AI channel. On this channel, we ask multiple AI services what if questions. The what if questions was made back in my childhood when I was asked to put all my questions in a binder because my family was tired of me asking them all the questions I had in mind. Now, later in the future, I'm taking the questions I made from my childhood and asking the AI services the questions and reviewing and judging their responses. I hope you enjoy this channel. Hi, and welcome back to the What If Ask AI channel. Today we are looking at this question: what if the board game Monopoly money was real money? As always, I have two example questions that come with an answer to help give the AI services something that I'm looking for. And with that in mind, we will have 5 AI services we will be using. We'll be using ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, Perplexity, and Meta AI. So first we're going to ask Copilot, what if the board game Monopoly money was real money? So Copilot's answer to that was, that would make every game night feel a lot more intense, and I imagine people would take landing on Boardwalk very seriously. I like that. Now let's see what Copilot is going to say when we ask Copilot, what if the board game Monopoly money was real money? Okay, so Copilot's answer was the following: if Monopoly money suddenly counted as real currency, the world would be in absolute chaos in a strangely entertaining way. Every household has stacks of those pastel bills tucked in a closet somewhere, so overnight you would have millions of brand new millionaires. Prices would skyrocket instantly, inflation would go wild, and economists would probably faint on live television. But on a more light-hearted note, I'd say that would be quite a day, and I imagine you'd be thrilled to find out your old board game made you unexpectedly wealthy. I do like this paragraph that Copilot put out there. Now let's see what Gemini's response to the question is. Okay, so here's Gemini's answer to what if the board game Monopoly money was real money. Well, I'd say you probably start checking under your sofa cushions and inside old game boxes immediately. If those colorful slips of money suddenly held their face value, the world would get very interesting and very chaotic very quickly. Here's a breakdown of what that Monopoly money reality might look like. 1. Instant hyperinflation. The most immediate issue is that there is a lot of Monopoly money out there. Estimates suggest there is about 3 billion printed in Monopoly money every year. If all the sets currently sitting in closets worldwide suddenly become legal tender, the sheer volume of cash entering the economy would make the value of a dollar plummet. Your $500 bill might buy you a candy bar if you're lucky. 2. The Great Banker Heist. In every household, the person who was assigned the banker during the last family game night would suddenly become the wealthiest person in the neighborhood. We'd likely see a massive merge in people auditing their board game collections. 3. Economic logistics. The Hasbro Mint. Hasbro would essentially become the most powerful central bank on Earth. Counterfeiting. Real currency has complex watermarks and security strips. Monopoly money is, well, paper. The world would be flooded with home-printed fakes within hours. Property values. If a hotel on Boardwalk only cost $200 in real money, the housing market would be in for a very confusing afternoon. 4. A new class of millionaires. According to the official rules, a standard game starts with $20,000 and 500. 4. A new class of millionaires. According to the official rules, a standard game starts with $20,580 in the box. If you have 5 or 6 editions of the game, Star Wars, Pokemon, and the classic version, you're sitting on over $100,000. While it sounds like a dream for anyone who owns the deluxe edition, the global economy would likely collapse under the weight of so much unbacked paper. It's probably for the best that we keep the free parking windfall strictly for the living room floor. Alright, now let's see what Perplexity will respond to the question with. So Perplexity's answer to that question is, well, that would make game night a lot more exciting. You would turn into a millionaire pretty quickly, but with everyone suddenly rich too, prices would skyrocket fast. It would be fun for a while, until even a bottle of water costs thousands of Monopoly dollars. Alright, let's see what Meta AI will respond to the question with. Okay, and here's Meta AI's response. Lol, that's a wild one. If Monopoly money was real, I'd say the world economy would be a total mess. I mean, people would be swimming in cash, literally, just from getting a handful of Monopoly money as change or finding some old games in the attic. On the other hand, it'd be chaos. Counterfeiting would be a breeze, and the value of money would plummet. Now that I've gone through all the questions and the responses that each of the AI services provided, I will be giving my opinion of which AI service did the best and which one did the worst. And those will be ranked from numbers 1 through 5. So in my opinion, number 5 is Perplexity. And the reason I gave Perplexity a 5 is just because it mentioned inflation. And compared to what all the other AI services had, I felt like this one kind of did the bare minimum. It just talked about how you'd be a millionaire pretty fast. And then it would just say like prices would skyrocket. And then it gave an example of the bottle of water costing thousands of Monopoly dollars. But for 4, I said that Meta AI was a 4 because it mentioned the disadvantage of this what if question, which was the counterfeiting. Talked about how counterfeiting would be easier than like regular money. It would just be a breeze. And then it also talked similar to what Perplexity did with the inflation part as well. So people would be swimming in cash, literally just from getting a handful of Monopoly money as change or finding some old games in the attic. So that's why I gave Meta AI a 4. And then for 3, I gave Copilot a 3. And the reason I gave it a 3 is because it said that it mentioned how the game might feel a lot more intense. And then also it mentioned a part of the game which is Boardwalk. And for those that have never played Monopoly, Boardwalk is on the board game. It's literally the last section that you go through before you go back to the beginning and get $200. So I liked how it mentioned that part of the game in the question as well. So that's why I gave it a 3. And then Copilot, I gave that a 2 because it talked about people having their old board games and how that can help them become millionaires. So if that was the case, like overnight you would have millions of new people that become millionaires just because they have those old games somewhere in their like a house or something like that. And then also it brought up a really good point about the real world reaction of economists. So the last part was it said inflation would go wild and economists would probably faint on live television. I liked how it mentioned that. And then for number 1, I said Gemini gave the best response, and for multiple reasons. 1, it talked about the hyperinflation, but it gave an example of how a $500 bill might be used for a candy bar, or not, or if not even higher. Then it talked about how about $3 billion of Monopoly money is printed each year. And then it also talked about the banker role in the game. So usually in the Monopoly game, there's an assigned banker who distributes the money. That person would become the most richest person in the neighborhood. I like how it mentioned that. And then also, as some of the other AI services mentioned, it went through the dangers of counterfeiting money becoming an easier. It's becoming easier for people to do, so that is a big problem. And I'll read what the counterfeiting section said again. It said real currency has complex watermarks and security strips. So Monopoly money is, well, paper. So you would lose the authenticity of real money because people can make copies a lot easier instead of having the watermarks and security strips that real US money has. And then the last part said the world would be flooded with home printed fakes within hours. So I like how it mentioned all of those aspects with its response, so that's why I put it as number 1. So to go through my ranking again, I put Perplexity as 5, Meta as 4, ChatGPT as 3, Copilot as 2, and Gemini as 1. And if you don't agree with the ranking I had, please feel free to leave a comment below in the description or to give your own ranking in the comment as well. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.